Right there this week. All right, well, for many people, the first step to home ownership is saving for the down payment. Here to give us some strategies on how to save is David Norris with Arvest Bank. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday
to you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is definitely a question a lot of people have. How do you start saving for something like this?
Well, and the first step for homeowners and new homeowners especially is to determine, how much you need to save. There are home programs that are out there that let you get into a house for as low as 3% down. There are some programs that allow you to get into a home with no money down. So determining that first step and how much you need to put down, whether it be opening a savings account where your current checking account is, and putting a little bit of your paycheck in there each month, that oftentimes will help build that savings a little bit quicker.
Okay, now, it's no secret we have to save in order to get, your first home and whatnot, but what kind of tips do you have to start saving? Because, there are piling bills,
Sure.
How much are you supposed to take out? How do you start doing that, and how can you prioritize?
Well, as my wife can attest, the first thing we did when we wanted to buy a house was to start a budget. And, determining, take out your monthly expenses, take your income, take out your expenses, and then you can ultimately determine what you can put away each month, because that's
smart,
going to,
because it's a visual.
Yeah,
you can
absolutely. Put it on paper. Put it on paper.
All right, perfect. And then so you just definitely want to cut out the small stuff too. Something that's not important,
Yeah.
you can use that to put into savings. But also another thing is check your credit.
That's
Can you talk about that?
Yeah, well, absolutely. And the biggest surprise that a lot of first-time home buyers, but home buyers in general, is that they come to me for a pre-qualification, and there's something on their credit that they didn't know about, whether it be a collection or a public record or a judgment of something, or their score may be considerably lower than what they anticipated being. So it's very important to check your credit. I wouldn't say check it often, but there are various sources outside on the internet or from your local lender that can you can actually get a free credit report once a year. You can do that, but checking your credit and just staying on top of that, because that definitely will affect your your interest rate and potentially your down payment.
Yeah, good to note. And one of the things probably people don't know about is once you buy a home, after you move out of an apartment, you've got to pay the expenses yourself in terms of okay, if your dishwasher fails on you, you got to fork out that money. So.
And the biggest thing we see with that is, it could be a hot water heater, it could be a dishwasher, like you said, it could be a roof. That's the kind of the worst thing, especially if you buy an older home and buying a roof, or just repairing anything in your house that you wouldn't have had to have done had you had an apartment where a landlord or somebody like that fixed it for you.
So convenient, right? But you got to do
much
it
easier.
yourself
Yeah, for sure.
this time around. All right. Well, hey, thanks so much, David, for joining us.
Appreciate
really good tips. All right, we're back right after the break. Stay with us here on Good Day.